is an end of an era in Miami made official this morning. Quinn Ewers is going to be the starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins this Sunday against the Cincinnati Bengals and likely for the remainder of the season. Tua has been benched. We already put out a video on it. We will talk more about the decision here on our live show, field questions, and talk about it. Because boy, oh boy, this was alluded to yesterday in Mike McDaniel's press conference, but it's one thing to hint at the idea of him being benched. It's one thing to talk about it being the right decision for the franchise and the rest of the year. It is another thing for it to actually happen. I am not surprised at the move. I am a little bit shocked at who they benched Tua for, even though I think it's the right decision. I think Quinn Ewers starting is the right call. We'll explain more through the live show, but I almost am a little stunned that Mike McDaniel didn't go with Tua Tagovailoa, or excuse me, Zach Wilson. But what is your one-word reaction to Tua being benched as we welcome in Producer Coop? I'm not going to ask Producer Coop's one word because if I had to guess what it would be jubilation.
Oh, that's a great word. My one-word reaction was going to be Quinn. I'm pumped for Quinn Ewers, baby.
Listen,
I am a Texas fan. I'm excited to see what Ewers has in the bank as an NFL QB. He was a very solid college quarterback at Texas, and I'm excited to watch Quinn Ewers sling the rock, man.
Yeah, if you didn't know how this show goes down here, Coop is not a Dolphins guy. He is a Texas football fan. So he has been wanting to see Quinn Ewers on the Dolphins football field for a while now with how much Tua has struggled. He finally gets his wish.
Let's go.
I see a lot of people saying, rejoice, finally, freedom, yes, about time. Tua needs to retire. Fun says, did Tua actually get benched or is this false information? Why would it be false information? You think we would go live
We're just spreading
just to say Tua got benched and it didn't actually happen? I mean, we can show the tweet from Ian Rappaport if you don't believe us. I mean, this is that. And we made
that's an insane comment.
Yeah, we made a video yesterday about how Mike McDaniel, the way he spoke about making changes potentially at the QB position and how Tua simply wasn't good enough, alluded to the fact that he would be benched. But it's one thing to, like I said earlier, Coop, it's one thing to say he needs to evaluate the position and he's not committed to anybody at this time and then actually make the bench.
Yeah, look, man. It is time. It is time for this to have happened. With the Dolphins officially out of contention for the playoffs this year, it was time to make a move on Tua Tagovailoa. Now, what that means for the future of Tua with the Dolphins remains to be seen. My gut tells me he has played his last snap as a Dolphin.
I would completely agree with that. I'm just so excited that there's hope again to watch Miami Dolphins football. Like, is it crazy to say, like, I was excited to watch this last Monday's game against the Pittsburgh Steelers because it was like, all right, can Tua finally dispel the narratives about not being able to play in the cold? How about Mike McDaniel? Can he finally lead a team into a cold weather environment against a good football team in the Steelers and get a win? And they ultimately came up short, unfortunately. But then you're like, well, now there's no reason to watch the final 3 games if Tua's at quarterback, right? Like, yeah, you can play spoiler for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Patriots in the final 2 weeks of the year, but what does that actually matter? But now, every snap offensively, every game from here on out will be an evaluation tool for the rookie 7th-round pick Quinn Ewers to decide, okay, is this a guy that potentially could be a starting quarterback in the National Football League and maybe even be the QB1 for Miami heading into 2026? Almost like a Spencer Rattler type move here in New Orleans. I think you are going to see a lot of similarities between what the Saints are doing this year and last offseason to what Miami will do this upcoming offseason and next year, if we're going to be honest. The Saints did not have a lot of cap space. They were in cap hell. Derek Carr retires. They have a lot of money allotted to him. they don't really have that good of a roster outside of the quarterback position. But they draft a rookie quarterback in the second or third round of the draft. They have a guy be a bridge quarterback to start the season that looked good the year prior as a rookie. That could be Quinn Ewers. Quinn could take the Spencer Rattler position here to where he ultimately starts the final 3 weeks, shows some promise, starts next year, the first month of the season, but then they ultimately turn towards the rookie quarterback they drafted in the second, third, or fourth round of the NFL draft. And then if that goes well with one of the two young quarterbacks, perfect. You got your QB1. If it doesn't, well, you're going to have a top 10 pick in the 2027 draft where you then officially have cap space because you can move off of Tua's contract. You are positioning yourself to have more cap flexibility in the 2027 offseason. And then you go out and trade up for a quarterback or draft a QB in the top 10 and then use money to address the roster around them. I mean, I don't think it's going to be something Dolphins fans want to hear, but if you want to be a realist here, don't expect a playoff appearance in the next 2 or 3 years, but expect a lot of development from young guys. And what you saw from the Saints over the last 2 seasons and off seasons is probably what you're going to see in Miami this offseason and the 2027 offseason as well.
I think that's a really good comparison, to be honest. Now, the only question is, can the Dolphins somehow convince Tua to retire? If they could, I don't exactly know how the money works there, but that would probably be a big help to Miami, to be honest, if you were to do that.
I mean, if Tua retires, that would certainly clear up a lot more financial flexibility this year. Unsure of how much it actually would. I would have to look and do more research on if Tua retired. I don't anticipate Tua retiring because I think he obviously still wants to play football. I think he obviously wants to get a lot of money as well. And if he retires, he's forfeiting a decent amount of change for the next couple of years. So it's crazy, but I don't think he's going to be retiring is the point here. First Super Chat of the day. We will be doing a mailbag on today's live show. We're only going to go live for probably about an hour here. We're just wanting to react to the news. Maybe party if people wanted to react. If you wanted to ask questions, Super Chat like Jonathan Soto saying, let's go Quinn Ewers. So if you want to get on the show, we will certainly do a mailbag at some point in the live show. Hashtag Dolphins or Super Chat. If you want to ask about Tua's future, the future of the Dolphins, the draft, Quinn Ewers, anything you want, use hashtag Dolphins or Super Chat like Jonathan Soto.
Shout out, Soto. Appreciate you.
Follow Mike Nintendo Master. His hashtag Dolphins question is exactly how you need to do it in the live chat if you want to get on the show. Any Super Chat will get on screen, though. Any Super Chat will get on screen. Like, this not only means a lot for the future of the Miami Dolphins and Quinn Ewers and Tua Tagovailoa, but it also means a ton for Mike McDaniel and other players as well. Tyreek Hill tweeted out in a reaction post to the Quinn Ewers starting benching for Tua a peace emoji. And it also was accompanied by
the disappear
gif, insinuating that he's going to leave the Miami Dolphins organization. I got news for you, buddy. You were going to be cut no matter what.
You weren't coming back, Tyreek.
Got a $52 million cap hit. Miami saves $26 million if they cut him prior to June 1st. They save $36 million if they cut or trade him post-June 1st. Tyreek Hill was never going to be on the Dolphins roster in 2026. So him wanting out changes absolutely nothing for the Miami Dolphins.
Zero.
Especially with a new GM coming in, Coop, who did not trade for Tyreek Hill. Did not extend Tyreek Hill. He has no reason to stick with them and try to make it work. So he's goodbye.
It's the unawareness of Tyreek Hill, to be honest. Like, he was not going to be back basically under any circumstance unless he was going to take a significant pay cut, which I'm not sure is going to be the case. So he's going to be gone on a different team. He's probably not going to be ready to start the season next year. Maybe he will, maybe he won't, but it doesn't seem that way.
Yeah, it'd be incredibly unlikely. But, yeah, you never know.
Never know. But, no, I feel like just be quiet, Tyreek.
Yeah, right.
I don't need to hear from you.
Don't need to hear from you. That's good stuff from producer Coop. Man, some good stuff. I forgot to tweet out the live show. Should should probably go do that.
Yeah, you can send out a tweet there. I'll take a look and see who all is in the chat. You got 140 people in the building right now. We got a lot of Quinn Ewers non-believers in the chat, which I don't like. Why not believe in the rookie quarterback? Why not believe?
How does that make you feel, Coop?
It doesn't make me feel good because I think Quinn was a 7th-round pick who was a 2nd or 3rd round talent.
Listen, going into last year's NFL draft, if you actually remember, he was a presumed 1st-round pick.
Yes, he was.
And if you looked at mock drafts in August of 2024, yeah, so like a year and a half ago, it was Quinn Ewers is going to be a top 15, top 10 pick.
The big knock on Quinn is, number one, I think the inconsistencies with his game are there.
That's a good point. I mean, I think that's the number one thing. We talked about it. His inaccuracy, his footwork, and oftentimes his decision-making sometimes would be a question mark. But he's got a ton of arm talent. But you mentioned inconsistency. I mean, you can go a game-to-game basis of his college career.
Oh, yeah.
And one game, he looks like the number 1 overall pick. And the next game, it looks like a guy who's never played the position before.
Exactly. Yeah, and he did deal with injuries throughout his career at Texas. He played his senior season with a torn oblique, basically. And that is also a concern that if you're looking for a long-term guy, you don't want to deal with the guy who deals with injuries and whose body is breaking down. The Dolphins have already dealt with that, with Tua having, multiple concussions and missing multiple weeks each of the last couple of seasons, except for this season where he stayed healthy for the most part. So you want a guy who is durable and you want a guy who is consistent. I'm not sure Quinn Ewers is that, but we're going to find out in these next 3 games.
Yes, we will. Appreciate you, David Crabtree, with the 5. Will this be a good move? Listen, I don't know if I could guarantee you Quinn Ewers shows you anything of promise. I think, and close your ears, Coop. That's not a thing, but cover your ears. I truly do, if you put a gun to my head, ask me, is Quinn Ewers going to be bad or good in these next 3 games? I'm probably going to answer bad.
I also would answer bad.
Like, that's just the
reality.
That's just the reality of the matter. But the reason why this is a good move is because you finally just admitted, all right, we're done with Tua. And I know there are a lot of people out there that still even believed in Tua, which somehow surprised me. But you just had to look at it and be like, Tua has declined so much physically and mentally over the last 2 years. You had no choice but to move on from him.
Yep.
Like, he has no arm strength. He has no mobility. You can have, like, it's crazy that you have a quarterback that is unwilling to run the ball when necessary, and when he does, you, like, audibly gasp inside because you're worried about him getting tackled and him being concussed again because of all the issues he's had mentally in his career.
There's no question about it. And I just think at this point, I don't know if even his own teammates had full faith in Tua to get the job done.
Publicly, they will say that.
Of course.
And I'm curious to see what they actually believed inside. Now, I am very fascinated to see the fallout inside the locker room. Obviously, Wednesday.
I mean, the fellas had to know this was coming.
I mean,
right?
they were told it either last night.
Yeah.
Actually, they were told it last night. You want to know why? Barry Jackson tweeted out last night. He might have known this was coming, but didn't break it. He tweeted out last night that one of the 3 quarterbacks was in Dolphins headquarters with the coaching staff late last night.
Who do you think that one was?
Well, it was Quinn Ewers, and he said today it was.
Oh, really?
But, like, he knew that Quinn was in the building with coaches last night late. And if he knew that, like, you knew Quinn Ewers was starting, which means I'm sure Mike McDaniel made the official switch yesterday afternoon and told Quinn Ewers, Tua, and Zach Wilson. I don't know if he told the entire team on Monday night, but he at least addressed them this morning or before they left the facility yesterday.
Very interesting times with the Dolphins, man. I do think it was I think that this move can be looked at as two separate moves. It's the right move to bench Tua. I don't think there's any question about that. He is not the future long-term quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. So if you want to bench him when you're eliminated from playoff contention, I think that's great. I also view them naming Quinn Ewers starting quarterback for the rest of the season as a separate move that is related, but they are not hand in hand. Like, you can say it's the right move to bench Tua. I can also see people saying it's the wrong move to name Quinn the starting quarterback. And if you wanted to go with Zach Wilson, like, I can see the argument there. But I do think it is the correct move on both ends of the spectrum, both benching Tua and giving Quinn the last 3 games.
I mean, I actually completely agree with you, Coop. Like, you got to look at them as separate moves. The Dolphins needed to bench Tua.
Yep.
Period. They did that.
Exactly.
And then when you remove that scenario and say, okay, we're not starting Tua anymore, who should we start between Quinn Ewers and Zach Wilson? The right decision is going with Quinn Ewers to see what you have in the rookie, because best case scenario, I'll continue to say this, he looks really good in the next 3 weeks, and you're like, okay, this is a guy on a rookie contract
we can work with,
that we can plan on being the starter in 2026 almost as a gap year, or who freaking knows, maybe he's a Brock Purdy. Like, I know the Brock Purdy situation is more or less an anomaly over the last decade because you don't see 7th-round picks become starters. Everyone's going to bring up Tom Brady. I know, 6th-round pick, number 199 overall. But these type of scenarios are anomaly. So, yes, it's unlikely, but you never know. You never know. And Quinn Ewers has a lot of arm talent. So, this entire year, working as the 3rd-string quarterback, being the backup, working on his craft, scout team, maybe it pays off. You just can't say definitively one way or another he is going to be good or he is going to be bad.
Exactly. We don't know.
And the hard part for me, Coop, is going to be this. If he plays really bad on Sunday, it's going to be hard for me not to overreact and say this guy just stinks because you're playing the worst defense in the NFL in the Cincinnati Bengals. And
who are also eliminated from the playoffs.
Right. And it's a 7th-round pick. So you're just like, well, it's a 7th-round pick. He stinks. You're playing the worst defense in the NFL. I expect you to do better. But conversely, Coop, in the opposite way, it's going to be hard for me not to overreact if he plays extremely well.
No question.
Because you also have to sit back here and say, well, he was playing the worst defense in the NFL. If there was ever an opportunity for him to have a good performance, this was it. Now, when you play the Buccaneers and the Patriots in the final 2 weeks of the year, that is where I think we can really evaluate Quinn Ewers. I think no matter what happens on Sunday, you can't make a legit judgment, right? You either have to say, this was a positive sign, this was a negative sign, but you see how he responds. If he could stack 2 games in a row of decent quarterback play against the Bengals and Buccaneers, well then okay, maybe we have something here. But if it goes bad against Cincinnati, good against Tampa, all right, he made the adjustments. Let's see what happens against New England.
I don't expect him to have 3 good games in a row. That's just not going to happen for a guy making his first 3 NFL starts. So I think we're going to obviously look at it game by game as it goes on, and then after the 3 games are done and the season is over, then you take the 30,000-foot view, and you're like, all right, how did he play as a whole? How did he play in these individual games? Do we think it's good enough to where we can at least keep him in the fold as a potential option, or do we know for a fact that we have to move on? So we will know a lot about Quinn after these 3 games.
I mean, Mark says if he sucks this Sunday against a bad team, we know he will suck. I don't think that's fair to say.
I don't either.
It would be incredibly disappointing. There's no doubt about it. And my mind would immediately think, okay, yeah, he's probably not that good. But I just don't think you can ever say definitively in someone's first career start, this guy sucks.
Right. Agreed.
Like, I just can't say that. Like, you're going to need a larger sample size. That's what I think.
Absolutely. And I guess a lot of it will be up to the new GM as well and what direction they want to take the franchise in. Do they want to go find a franchise QB soon, or are they looking for a young developmental quarterback, knowing that they're probably not a playoff team in the next couple of seasons?
Yeah, Jonathan Soto here with the 5. Appreciate you. You believe that the consistent hip injuries from Tua was more of the reason for the downfall than the concussions. Can't generate enough power from the hip. I mean, I'm not going to dispel that at all, Jonathan Soto. We know he had a lower body injury when he was in Alabama at college, and that raised some red flags in the pre-draft process. And then we know just last year, Tua didn't play the final couple games of the season. Remember, week 17, week 18 against the Jets and Browns, Tua didn't play.
Nope.
Because he had a hip injury. And you saw Tyler Huntley out there for Miami, where he went 1-1 in those 2 games against Cleveland and New York. But maybe that hip injury was something that should be more of a concern than we originally thought. The second hip injury might have really done it in, because we mentioned it. The mobility that Tua has, non-existent. The arm strength, super limited. So to me, I think it could absolutely be a real talking point here that the hip for Tua is the reason why the decline in play. And I am seeing a tweet out there by Jonathan Jones of CBS that if you are someone who wants to trade Tua, there's not going to be a lot of interest in him across the league.
Of course not.
Due to his struggle in cold weather games, due to the comments he made after that Chargers game. So, we'll see, man. We'll see.
The new GM gets to walk into a $54 million shit show with Tua. How much can the new guy do in year one? I mean, yeah, that'll be part of the interview process for Stephen Ross. What is your plan with the quarterback? How do you plan to navigate this cap hit and all of that? So that'll definitely be a big sticking point for Stephen Ross and how he evaluates who he's going to hire as the next GM of the team.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though. I'm excited, man.
I am too. It gives us some juice for the final 3 weeks of the season. If Tua was playing in these last 3 games, it would just be, there would be no point in watching, essentially. Now, you actually have something to look forward to these final 3 Sundays. You have something to watch, which is all you can ask for.
Right. Really, there was no reason to watch over the last 3 games. Fans are still going to watch because it's you only get so many games a year, and you're 3 weeks away from not having Dolphins football until August, which is obviously 8 months away. So it's you're probably going to watch your favorite team, but you're watching your team play knowing there's no reason to watch them other than the fact you just enjoy
That's right.
the sport and the organization. Now, there is legit value in watching these games, breaking down the Quinn Ewers film. I will guarantee you right now, next week, we are going to do a video breaking down Quinn Ewers' film. We're going to do an entire segment breaking down Quinn Ewers' game against Cincinnati, the highs, the lows, everything in between. I'm going to watch every single offensive play, and we're going to certainly kind of try our best to see if this is a guy that can be a starting quarterback in the NFL, or let alone for the Miami Dolphins.
It's very exciting times for the Dolphins, Mr. Rowley, and something that also is a result of this benching is the future of Mike McDaniel.
Yeah.
You really get a chance to see how McDaniel can navigate a team without Tua Tagovailoa as his starting quarterback. This will be the first time.
I'll say this. I know it's not the best option because it's a 7th round pick in 2025. That's a rookie. But for hey, let's give Mike McDaniel another chance with a quarterback not named Tua, this is his opportunity. If Mike McDaniel and this Dolphins team looks awful the final 3 weeks of the year, then you might as well just say, let's get on with it and move on, right?
Yep.
You just might as well, because Mike McDaniel is thought of as an offensive-minded guy who is really smart, QB friendly, can develop quarterbacks. He helped Tua's career coming in, right? But if he looks terrible, the team just absolutely gives up, in the final 3 weeks of the year because they're eliminated from playoff contention and the offense can't move the football, then what's the point of bringing him back? This is a big 3 weeks for Mike McDaniel. But conversely, if he has this team still playing hard, Quinn Ewers looks good, Miami goes 2-1 in these final 3 games, then hell yeah, bring Mike back.
Absolutely. I think it's an evaluation process for everybody these next 3 games.
Yeah.
There is no question about it.
Shout out my guy Flatliner, a.k.a. Frank, who's excited to see what Ewers can do. I am. Hate to say it, but even when we're winning, I wanted him in. I had no faith in Tua, so who else is excited? Frank, I am certainly very excited. You know what? Some people called me a Tua hater. That wasn't the case whatsoever. You could actually go back and watch some of the content.
You're a Tua realist.
Yeah. I just want to see the Dolphins succeed. And I thought going into the 2024 season that Tua was the best option because obviously you had to make the choice. Are you extending Tua or are you not extending Tua? I was on the side. I'm not hiding from this. You should extend Tua because coming off the best season of his career in 2023, if the Dolphins won the division or made the playoffs in 2024 and Tua has a monster year, you're going to have to pay him $58-60 million per season. And I said, take the gamble, pay him $54 million before the year, and see what happens. Now, obviously, that was the wrong decision. I hand up. I'm not shying away from that. I made the wrong decision to say the Dolphins should pay Tua. But that's me also realizing that was my opinion then. But once we saw Tua decline in 2024 on and off the field, and then decline once again in 2025, there was no other choice that you have to make other than benching Tua and moving on.
Yep. You knew it was
I
time.
was not a Tua hater the entire time. I just became someone who came to the realization that he needed to not be the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins anymore about, I would say, week 6. I'd say after the Chargers game or the Browns game might have been the real nail in the coffin when you lost by 25 points to the horrible Browns, 31-6, I think was the score on the road, and Tua had 3 interceptions. That is when I was like, all right, it's official.
We're done.
This guy can't be the quarterback.
Yeah.
And then that's when they won 5 of their next 7. But Tua didn't even play good
well
in those games.
Yeah.
So, crazy. But Frank, appreciate the $20 super
Shout
chat.
out, Frank.
You'll get on the mailbag for sure that we're going to be doing here in just a second. I'll also say this. You know what? I'm feeling like in a good mood here, Coop. $50 super chat, I'll do a beer bong.
Ooh.
We usually don't drink during the week, only on game days.
You want a race?
I'll do beer bong race for a $50 super chat, Coop. You in?
I'm out.
Let's do it.
I'm down.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Why not?
Let me see how many questions we got.
Yeah, we're going to do a mailbag here in a second. So if you want to get on the mailbag, super chat or use hashtag Dolphins and ask a question in the live chat.
We need some more.
We need some more questions.
We've got about 8 questions from Mike Nintendo Master, and then 2 other questions.
Yeah.
Mike, you're only getting on there once.
Can't have them all be the only question.
Hashtag Dolphins or Super Chat to get on our mailbag coming up here in just a second.
Yeah. If you want to ask about Quinn, Tua, the next 3 games, the draft, free agency, Mike McDaniel, whatever the fallout is between this decision, go ahead and use hashtag Dolphins in the comments.
It feels like the start of a new era.
It is a new era.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you.
Use hashtag Dolphins, though. Mark says dark days in Dolphin land. I disagree. I think we've been in the dark days all year long, but I think we're starting to see the sunlight crack through here.
No doubt.
The organization has finally made the decision, okay, Tua isn't the guy. And that's the first start in a flip in how you build this roster and move forward.
Absolutely. You know now.
Cameron with a great question.
That is a great question, Cameron.
Follow Cameron's lead. As we got another $10 super chat from Frank. a.k.a. Flatliner. Shout out to you.
We need at least 3 more.
Need at least 3 more questions. Axie with a good question. Appreciate you. London with a great point. If Tua was great, he would have elevated the team.
No doubt.
He just didn't do that anymore. Frank, appreciate you. Any chance if Ewers absolutely shines these next 3 games, he can be named the starter next year? Absolutely.
Yep.
I think if he, Frank, and we'll answer this more in depthly on the mailbag, if he balls out and the Dolphins look really solid offensively and go 2-1 in the final 3 games, I think you would have to go into the offseason with the idea that Quinn Ewers is your starter. Now, that should not stop you from potentially drafting a quarterback in the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th round, but that allows you to go in the offseason saying Quinn Ewers is our starter. And we'll just see what happens from there. Lost Techno with a question. Appreciate you. Megallo with a question. How we looking on questions?
It looks like we've got some more. I'm liking it. Got a few super chats as well.
Love it.
I think we're pretty much ready when you are.
Ready, says Cooperstein.
Just get a quick L3.
Coop's going to get a couple graphics here set up, and then we'll get rolling on a mailbag here. How long have we been live for, Coop?
We have been live for 33 minutes.
33 minutes? Just chopping it up with you guys. It's been a really fun time. So we're going to do a mailbag here, and then we'll hang out as long as you guys want us to hang out. Make sure you've hit that thumbs up icon, by the way, if you haven't already. 190 people watching. Let's get that like number closer to 200 or 100. Why not? Let's get to the triple-digit like mark. Why not, baby? Why not? I cannot wait to see Quinn Ewers speak to the media today because he will have to as a starter. Can't wait to see what Mike McDaniel says. Can't wait to see what some other players in the locker room have to say.
Do you think we'll hear from Tua?
I don't think so. Maybe.
I would lean yes.
I guess they could. The Dolphins, those reporters get access to the locker room and can ask anyone a question.
Yeah.
So I guess he'll be there. But that's going to be our video that goes out today afternoon. That's for sure.
No doubt.
Our video later today will absolutely be about that. I think video plan, Coop, just quickly heads up in my own head here. We got to do that PM video there. We'll do a Thursday morning video about like what to expect Quinn Ewers, what I'm looking for. And then throughout the week, I mean, we got to talk about quarterback targets in the offseason.
No doubt.
So, yeah, it's going to be a fun one. Mark says, what's the Dolphins' depth chart at quarterback now? Well, Quinn Ewers is obviously QB1. Someone will ask it, I'm sure, today. If not, it's a big miss. Someone's got to ask Mike McDaniel at his press conference today if Quinn Ewers will be backed up by Tua or if Zach Wilson will remain the backup and they will just have Tua be the emergency third quarterback inactive every week. Someone's got to ask that today. So, but it's unclear of what they're doing at this time in that regard. But it is clear it's time to do a mailbag here, folks. So here we go. Let's get into the mailbag portion of our live show. It has been a very busy week in Miami, Florida, the Dolphins benched Tua Tagovailoa in favor of Quinn Ewers on Wednesday afternoon, just a couple days after they got eliminated from playoff contention with a loss on Monday night against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we are coming to you with a Dolphins Today mailbag after the news that Tua is getting benched for Ewers. This was filmed on our Wednesday live show reaction to the benching. So if anything changed, that is why. But David Crabtree starts off by asking, is this going to be a great move for Miami to bench Tua and go with Quinn Ewers? Well, I think our producer, Coop, made a great point on that Wednesday live show to where you have to analyze the decision in two separate moves. Because this is not the Dolphins benching Tua for Quinn Ewers, in my opinion. This is the Dolphins benching Tua Tagovailoa and then deciding that Quinn Ewers will start. I do not believe that Miami thinks Quinn Ewers is a better quarterback than Tua Tagovailoa currently. But the fact of the matter is this. The jury was out on Tua, right? He cannot win big games in cold weather environments, and his play has jumped off of a cliff over the last 2 years. You had to move on from him because nothing was changing offensively with him at quarterback. So that's move number one. But then you look at move number two. All right, we benched Tua. Which quarterback should start? Zach Wilson or Quinn Ewers? I said it had to be Quinn Ewers. Now, I thought Mike McDaniel might go with Zach Wilson because he might believe he gives him the best chance to win and ultimately save Mike McDaniel's job going into 2026. But going with Ewers is the good move, the better move, because you get to evaluate what you have in a 22, 23-year-old quarterback that was at one point thought of a top 10 pick in the draft. He was a 5-star recruit coming out of college or high school. He's got superb arm talent, but he lacks consistency, and his mechanics break down from time to time, as well as his decision-making is an issue. But the arm talent and the physical profile project as someone who, if he has it all up here and locks down the mechanics, can be a starting quarterback in the National Football League. Is he going to be good? I cannot guarantee that. It's likely going to be bad more than good. But it is the right decision to not only bench Tua, but then make the choice of Quinn Ewers over Zach Wilson. Because what's the best case scenario here, right? Quinn Ewers is the starting quarterback of the future because he flashes so much potential in these next 3 games. Worst case scenario, we know he's not anything, moving on. What's the best case scenario with Zach Wilson? He looks good, and you have to pay him a 1-year, $14 million contract in the offseason, and you allot $70+ million to the quarterback spot? Doesn't sound like that good of a best case scenario to me. More questions to be answered here, but hit that sub button. We went live on Wednesday. We added a reaction video. Join the channel. Subscribe so you're in the know on everything Miami Dolphins. Next question coming in from Mike Nintendo Master. Bench any starter that plans to start next year at this point for Miami? No. If there is an injury, yeah, but absolutely not. Like, why would you bench Jalen Waddle? Sure, risk it. Don't want to risk injury, but you also need to evaluate what Quinn Ewers can do, and you want to evaluate him with your full arsenal of weapons, right? That's why I will say the same thing for Devon Achane. There's risk in doing anything athletic, no matter if it's football, basketball, golf, bicycle, paddleboarding. I don't care. There's going to be a risk in everything in terms of injury or danger. But if you want to truly evaluate what you have in Mike McDaniel at head coach, evaluate what you have going forward in Quinn Ewers at quarterback, you need to surround him with everything you surrounded Tua with. So unless there is an injury, there should be no player benched for the final 3 weeks of the year. Minka Fitzpatrick will probably miss time due to his calf injury, but offensively, Waddle needs to be out there, Achane needs to be out there, everybody on the O-line needs to be out there, Darren Waller needs to be out there. No one gets benched. Frank, Flatliner, any chance that if Ewers shines in the next 3 games that he is named the starter next year? Yeah, I mean, I alluded to it a little bit off the top when I was asked about, is this the right move? But yeah, I mean, that's the right way of thinking here, I feel like. I said it on our live show. I'll say it here. If Quinn Ewers looks even just like an average quarterback in the NFL, and the Dolphins' offense either improves or looks better and you go 2-1 against the Bengals this Sunday, the Buccaneers in Week 17, and the Patriots in Week 18, I just don't think there's any other way to operate but looking at Ewers as the starter in 2026. Because you can then make the decision, all right, Quinn is our starter. We can either try to trade Tua or cut Tua. And then if that doesn't work and you don't want to take the $56 million cap hit to cut him, it would be $99 million in dead cap, and you want to keep him as a backup, cool. Quinn and Tua have already worked together. Maybe draft someone in rounds 3 or 4 of the NFL draft. Like that feels like where it would go, right? I just don't know how you can look at Quinn Ewers here and he plays well in the final 3 games and be like, yeah, we're good. We're actually not going to start him next year. Because you don't have a lot of cap space. Unless you trade up in the draft for a quarterback, you're not going to take a high-profile rookie in the first round. So if Ewers plays well on Sunday against the Bengals, does it again, and at least he's got to look good in 2 of the 3 games for me to consider it. He looks good in all 3. All right, then we're probably going with him as a starter in 2026. It's a good question here. Will Quinn Ewers start a game for Miami next season? Why for yes or N for no? This would bank on him looking good, I think, in 67% of the snaps for the rest of the season. Cameron, besides Drew Aller and Taylon Green mentioned, what other college quarterbacks do you have your eye on in this draft? It's a great question, Cameron. I did mention if you are not looking at the Fernando Mendozas, the Dante Moores, the Ty Simpsons, what quarterback should Miami potentially look to draft? Well, I don't know if there's going to be anybody available in the second round to take. Maybe John Mateer if he comes out of school. Decision probably coming in the next week. We'll see what happens in that Oklahoma and Alabama college football playoff game on Friday night. Mateer and Simpson might both return to college. They both might go to the draft. But you have a couple other guys that are intriguing outside of Drew Aller and Taylor Green. You have Darian Mensah, who I think is going to transfer and go to a better school. But Mensah looked good for Duke this season. He looked good as a redshirt freshman for Tulane a couple years ago. Mensah at 6'3", he had 30 touchdowns, 5 interceptions this season. He is intriguing to me. Mensah in the second round is fascinating. Will he go to the draft, though? I don't know. Garrett Nussmeier was a projected first-round pick this year. He played hurt this season for the LSU Tigers, ultimately was benched at the end of the year. I think more or less because of injury, but he did not play well. He doesn't have a lot of elite traits, but he's a good leader and at times displays a lot of accuracy. So Nussmeier could be an interesting option in day 2 of the draft. I'll throw out Carson Beck from Miami, even though I don't think he's very good. I'll throw out Cade Klubnik, another player I don't think is very good. I just don't believe this is a good quarterback class whatsoever. It is going to be very thin with most players returning to school. You've already seen Brennan Sorsby entering the transfer portal and likely returning. You've already seen Lenore Sellers return. Arch Manning is returning. So 2027 certainly looks like the better quarterback draft class if you're comparing the two. But those are some names that I'd keep an eye on right now. But I'm sure some others will pop out of nowhere as we get closer to the April 2026 NFL Draft. More coming up here in a second. But this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. It's the holiday season. And if you want to get on the action and feel good to be right, because there's so many decisions that need to be made during the season. What gifts to buy, what to eat. PrizePicks is the best way to feel right. If your fantasy football season's already over, you don't got to wait until next year's draft. PrizePicks let you play fantasy football every week. Just pick your favorite players and win when they hit their projections. No draft required. PrizePicks, so simple to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. I've already made an entry this week. I'm going more than on Jamar Chase receiving yards against Miami and going more than on Ollie Gordon touchdowns. That is my 2-player entry for the Dolphins-Bengals game this upcoming Sunday. You could also have a lot of success going Devon Achane more on Fantasy Score. He's pretty good at that. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. John Soto, I believe the constant hip injuries caused more of Tua's downfall than the concussion. He could never generate enough power from the hip. I think this is a very legit conversation to have. We obviously, if you rewind the clock, go back to Tua at Alabama. Suffers a really bad lower body injury around the hip that legitimately raised red flags and question marks about him as an NFL prospect and if it would ever hold him back. Now, he looked good at times early in his career, mobility-wise. He never had elite arm strength, but that hip injury that he suffered at the end of the 2024 season. Remember, he didn't play in Week 17 against the Browns and Week 18 against the Jets in 2024. Tyler Huntley started those two games due to a hip injury. Could that re-aggravation of Tua's hip been something that ultimately hindered him this season more than we have been known to know in the public eye? Like, if it comes out that that hip is so cooked that is the reason why Tua declined, you can at least cut Tua some slack about the lack of play, but also it would just further the point that it was time for Miami to move off of him because Tua's body is breaking down. So that hip injury could absolutely be the cause of the decline for Tua. Either way, the play from Tagovailoa, not good enough to be a starting quarterback in the NFL anymore. Axie with a good question. Carolina trade up in 2023 with the Bears to go get Bryce Young. Could the Dolphins do the same in 2026? Well, let's go back in history here. The Carolina Panthers, if I'm not mistaken, traded up from pick number 9 to get the number 1 selection in that draft that was held by the Chicago Bears. What did the Bears ultimately receive? The Bears got DJ Moore, a 2023 first-round pick. All right, so this is what ended up happening. I want to concise it. Panthers got number 1 overall pick, drafted Bryce Young. The Bears got DJ Moore, 2 first-round picks, 2023 and 2024, and then 2 second-round picks, 2023 and 2025. So 2 seconds, 2 firsts, and a budding star at wide receiver at the time in DJ Moore for the number 1 overall pick. Do you think Miami should do that? Is Fernando Mendoza worth that? Is Dante Moore worth that? Is Ty Simpson worth that? I say absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I would be furious if Miami made a similar trade like that. If you want to trade up in the first round from the second round, like move up from pick 43 to get 28 and draft Ty Simpson if he's there in the late first round because you like Ty Simpson and believe in him, all right, I can be fine with trading up from the second round to the first round to go get a quarterback similar to what the Giants did with Jackson Dart this past NFL draft. But with how Miami's roster is currently constructed and the lack of conviction in any of these draft prospects at quarterback this year, I believe that would be a monumental mistake to trade up to get a Dante Moore or Fernando Mendoza. If one of them slides to like pick 7 or pick 8 and you want to trade up from 10 or 11 to go get them, yeah, okay. But if you're mirroring the Panthers trade where you go up to number 1, absolutely not. Absolutely not. If you are enjoying the mailbag and want more Dolphins mailbags going on in the future here, hit that thumbs up icon and show us you enjoy the content. Tyson Bryant, should Mike McDaniel switch to more of a balanced attack or passing offense instead of running the ball mainly to get a better feel for what they potentially have in Quinn Ewers? This is actually a great question. Keep everything the same, status quo. And I know people are going to say, well, how are you going to evaluate him? Because you already said that Tua didn't show you anything and the running game was the reason why you were winning. How are you going to evaluate Quinn? Well, I need to know that Quinn Ewers can operate in offense first. And I'll also make the note here, what do you think opposing teams are going to do defensively against Miami for the final 3 games of the year with Quinn Ewers at quarterback? They're going to do exactly what the Pittsburgh Steelers did on Monday night. They're going to load the box up. They're going to say, We are going to take away your elite run designs, your elite rushing attack with Devon Achane, Ollie Gordon, and Jalen Wright. And we're going to force Quinn Ewers to make throws in tight coverages against man coverage and see if the rookie can beat us. And Quinn is going to have to do it. He's not going to have to do it for a full 60 minutes, but he's going to have to do it on 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 8s, in the red zone at times. So you will be able to evaluate Quinn Ewers no matter what style of offense you play. I think you should continue running the same offense that you have had in the last 6-7 weeks to where you are 5-2 in the last 7 weeks that you've played, right? You beat the Falcons, you beat the Jets, you beat the Commanders, Bills, and Saints, lost to the Ravens and Steelers. Run those same offensive schemes and offensive concepts and see if Quinn Ewers can do it at the same level of Tua, but then in the obvious passing situations, in the play action plays, can Quinn elevate the passing attack with better decision-making and better vertical threats? Because Quinn Ewers has a better arm than Tua, no doubt about that. Now maybe defenses might have to respect the chance of a deep ball more. Throwing it out there. All right, I'll do it for today's show. We'll have another video out tomorrow, and then we're going to be live on Sunday for Dolphins, Bengals, Week 16 football. Quinn Ewers starting at quarterback. What a time to be alive. Subscribe and join us. Woo!
I can't wait to watch Quinn sling the pill, man.
Yeah, you're going to be excited, man.
I'm pumped.
Is this the most you've been excited for a Dolphins game ever?
I can comfortably say yes.
Comfortably
say yes. I was pretty excited for this Monday night game, not going to lie.
I was too, obviously.
And then they,
And then shit the bed, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. Man, I'm excited though, man. I really am. It feels like we have a nice glimmer of hope going forward.
And something to watch in the final 3 weeks of the year.
Right, something to watch, something to evaluate.
The Theo Weiss thing is actually not a bad idea, by the way.
So I really do think they should do it.
They should. Get him a guy he has rapport with.
Because I'll also say this. The Dolphins currently are slated to get a 4th-round comp pick due to the formula, losing Javon Holland, losing some of the players they got. But that could be taken away if Nick Westbrook-Ikhine continues to play a lot of snaps.
Oh, my God. Yeah, what?
I mean, it's one of the biggest talking points. NWI should be made healthy and active the final 3 weeks.
Correct.
Because he hasn't been that good in the receiving game. And if you play him just to block out there, you're sabotaging a potential comp pick in this upcoming draft.
Oh, then he has to sit.
You should sit Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, and you should move Theo Weiss to the active roster. Heck, if you want to waive Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, I also wouldn't bat an eye.
That's fine.
Because I thought he was going to be really good for Miami this season.
You could just make Weiss a practice squad elevation.
Could. Absolutely
You have
could.
the 3 games. I don't think they have done that this year yet for him. So
Yeah.
they could just do that in the final 3 games anyways. But, yeah, regardless, I mean, this team will look different the next couple of weeks. And hopefully he does get similar play that Tua was getting from the pieces around him. I mean, you'd like improved offensive line play, but with how bad Jonah has been this year, how bad, well, I guess not bad, but how inconsistent the right guard spot in general has been, and the right tackle position for that matter.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
We're going to see a lot of things, man. It's certainly going to be a fascinating day. Ooh, I got trivia for you, Coop.
Please.
We'll stay live if you guys continue to super chat, ask questions. We don't have any other videos planned. We'll film more throughout the day for sure. Who is the last Texas quarterback to win his first start in the NFL?
Oh, I can sharp this. I can absolutely sharp this. Sam did not. Colt did not. Vince. I don't believe Vince did. I don't think he started the first couple of weeks his rookie year because it was McNair. Does it go all the way? Is it Chris Sims?
What is your final answer?
Chris Sims final.
You are correct.
Ooh, let's go.
Chris Sims,
That would have been
last
like
Texas quarterback to win
04?
his opening start. 0-4 with the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Week 4.
Wow.
Week 5, excuse me. Wild day.
The lefty.
The lefty Chris Sims.
Also a 5-star number 1 overall recruit who didn't quite live up to the hype. Interesting.
Man. Going to be interesting.
It'll be fascinating. I mean, it gives us some juice to talk about. Oh, and the content. I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah, really does.
QB targets, draft targets, free agent targets. We'll have what McDaniel, what Quinn, potentially what Tua had to say this afternoon on a video. It's exciting times, man.
Very exciting times, man.
And 2 of the 3 Holy Triumvirate is gone. And Mike McDaniel might be next.
How about that? We talked about it earlier in the year that 2 of those 3 had to be gone, right?
Yep.
One of Greer, 2 of McDaniel, or 2 of those 3. We said it should be all 3, but it probably won't be. Maybe we will get all 3. Maybe we will get all 3.
Oh, man. Super chat coming in from Terpst.
Shout out to Terps with the $2 super chat. Finn's cut Judon. Yeah, we were in the process of filming a short about Matthew Judon being cut. And quite literally, as I was filming the 1-minute short, it was announced Tua was getting benched. And obviously, that takes quite the larger...
Look, Judon was horrific.
Oh, he was terrible.
He was horrific this season. So you're going to go with Chop. You'll go with Chubb. Quentin Bell probably, right? As your...
Quinn Bell was signed to the 53-man roster right before the game on Monday. You still have Cam Good.
Yep. Whatever.
Not great.
No.
Not great.
Hopefully Chop can shine.
Chop was pretty bad on Monday night as well.
He wasn't great. That pick, I'm concerned about.
It's so fascinating because he was so good in the final 10 weeks of the year last season that you just expected it to continue and carry over this year, and it really hasn't been the case that much at all. What happened to Mo Kamara? The Dolphins cut him on roster cutdown day this year. I think he's on the Buccaneers practice squad now.
Is he on their P squad? I thought he was active, but you're probably right.
I think he might be on the practice squad. Ah, someone retracted their message after.
Oh, we saw it. Don't worry.
We saw
it, Jake.
We saw it. You can't hide from us. You want to call us out and then try to retract it. We got your ass. 4K. Snapped.
He said chill.
Listen, we show love to the people that donate to the channel more. Absolutely. There's no hiding from that. But we read as many comments as we can. We read as many as we can. Another $2 super chat coming in from Sal.
Get you on screen here. Shout out Sal E.
Right decision to start Quinn over Zach. Yeah, I couldn't be more aligned with Miami doing this. I actually believe that the Dolphins were going to go with Zach Wilson, but I'm glad they went with Quinn because what's the point of making the switch and then putting in a quarterback who has started multiple years in the past? Yes, number 2 overall pick, tons of arm talent, but we know Zach Wilson stinks. And we saw him in the preseason. He didn't look good. He didn't look good in the minimal opportunities he had in a couple garbage time games this season. But Quinn Ewers showed a little bit of promise in the preseason. He's a rookie. And if he ends up playing well over the next 3 games, well, then just maybe you have a starting quarterback of the future on your hands. So, yeah, giving the shot to the last 3 weeks when the season's already over and you're eliminated from the playoffs to Quinn Ewers just makes the most sense. It just does. Interesting. Did you see this? Barstool Sports? They're partnering with Netflix for exclusive video podcasts.
Wow.
So Pardon My Take, I think, is moving off of YouTube and going
to Netflix only?
Well, the normal podcast, but the video aspect is going to Netflix.
Interesting. Good for them.
It's certainly something. Oh, wow. In other news, the Mets Luke Weaver.
Weave and Devin Williams?
Yeah, we're just stealing the Yankees bullpen. Awesome.
Weaver's a dog.
I like Weaver, even though he struggled last year.
Don't love Devin Williams, but
I think I texted Tom and said Luke Weaver's going to be a Met. Like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so the Yankees only left with Bednar then.
Weaver's a solid 7th inning guy. Ideally, 7th inning Weaver.
He can go
8th inning
multiple innings
Williams.
too.
9th inning Mason.
You are not getting Mason Miller.
Sure we are.
Devin Williams is going to start the year as the closer. I don't know if that's good or bad.
Quinn Ewers, Brock Purdy? Maybe. Can't rule it out. Never know.
That's kind of the best case scenario, right? Is that Quinn starts these 3 games, looks really good, and turns in to a guy that the Dolphins can have as their starting quarterback on a rookie contract.
Wow. 2-year, $22 million. It's not a bad deal. It's not
Yeah, it's not bad. Paying relievers always scares me, but
yeah. All right. If nobody else has a super chat coming in, we're going to get out of here on today's live show. Live here for an hour reacting to the news. We did a Q&A. We put out a video earlier today already. We got to film a lot more content today. It's going to be a busy day for Coop and I. That certainly is that. Appreciate everybody for hanging out with us here. I know it was early in the morning on a Wednesday, and I know not everybody can join us live, but for the people that did, it was a lot of fun, and hopefully you guys continue to return and join us for fun stuff.
yes, indeed.
We're going to have one more super chat to get to.
Uno mas?
Un mas. Un mas.
JP, what's your initial plan or your ideal plan for Miami with draft and re-sign?
I said it last week on a video. I'd like to re-sign one of Rasul Douglas and Jack Jones. Just one. I don't think you need to bring back both. Go with one because you have Juju Brents returning. You have Storm Duck returning next year. Jason Marshall Jr. in year 2. So re-sign one of them. Draft a corner in the first 3 rounds. You have 5 top 100 picks right now. Draft a corner with one of those 5 and see what happens there in the secondary. I'd like to bring back Greg Dulcich. I'd bring back Cole Strange to be a backup interior offensive lineman. Bring back Julian Hill. Draft a tight end to complete that room and have it be Hill, Dulcich, and draft pick in the top 100. You need to draft edges. You don't really have anybody. Bradley Chubb is declining. Chop Robinson is the only guy you have for the future, so drafting an edge is going to be a high priority for Miami. Also probably need to get a little bit younger at safety. So yeah, I'm looking at drafting edge, maybe even a right tackle to replace Austin Jackson since he is so inconsistent in terms of staying on the field. So that's kind of it. We'll have a full plan probably within the next month, a video I'll put out of ideal offseason plan. But right now, I'm probably looking at an edge early in the draft or a corner. Draft a quarterback in the 3rd or 4th round potentially, depending on who's available.
This comment triggers me.
What?
The most recent comment. Because it's how you say his name.
Yeah, and not every name is pronounced like it's spelled.
Go listen to Tua say his name.
Tua Tagovailoa.
Sorry, I almost went on a Rolly rant there because that pissed me off.
Yeah, so everyone gets pissed off randomly at things. That one's a surprise. I don't know why you got worked over that
because
one.
He's trying to tell us we're wrong and we're not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unbelievable.
All right. That's going to do it for today's live show. We appreciate everybody for hanging out with us here. We're going to have more content coming out. Video later today in reacting or the Quinn Ewers comments after being named the starter. Mike McDaniel's comments, teammates' reaction. So stay tuned for that. Appreciate everybody for being here with us on today's live show. See ya with another one soon. Peace out.